Yeah.
Not many in this field can boast about having written papers with Professor Helmut Pichler, but our next speaker can. And of course, he's been a leader in Fischer-Tropsch synthesis, especially on selectivity and the mechanism. And Professor Schulz today is going to be speaking about multi-compound product composition as a means for understanding FT chemistry.
Many thanks for the kind introduction. I enjoy particularly to be here. It's an honor, it's a great pleasure. We have been friends in Fischer-Tropsch synthesis over many years, so I enjoy particularly this event and enjoy to be able to participate in this event. So the multi-compound product composition, I wonder.
Professor Schulz, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we don't hear you. Yeah, can you actually hold it?
Is this
better?
I wonder.
Is this better?
It is okay. Can you?
Have you turned it on? Are you sure it's on?
It's on.
Maybe this is better. Is this okay? Can this be okay now? I can't speak loudly anyway. So then the problem is the product complexity. Will this be a chance or will this be a hindrance? For a long time it has been a hindrance for Fischer-Tropsch chemistry, particularly because even the composition changes with time. This needs maybe days until you get steady state. And so, but we are interested in the complexity to see what we can learn from that, perhaps. So we would like to learn something about the events on the surface. The events would be prolongation, branching of chains, desorption of chains, the readsorption, and also hydrogenation, isomerization of olefins, and also the methylation. These might be the events. And of course, the problem now is the unsteady regime. And so this concerns then self-organization of Fischer-Tropsch chemistry. And this then concerns active sites, species on the sites, constraints, reversibilities, which might be important. So that's our view, that's what we are interested in. And finally, we wanted to know something about the sites themselves for growth on iron or on cobalt. On iron, they must be alkalized. Anyway, what the difference might be. So then for a long time it has been a miracle, nice miracle. But now it turns out, now we understand it's not a miracle any longer. It means high complexity of unknown order, but we know meanwhile a lot of the order. So we have some insight meanwhile. So if you go to product composition, then the simplest way is to look on a gas chromatograph. So we see here at C2 it's easy. There we have propylene, propane. These are these two only. This is an internal reference for direct yield from the individual compounds from the mixture we have then. And so at C3-4 it's already a little more complicated. We have the monomethyl branch paraffin. From the olefin, we have the olefin 2 as well. This is in the trans. And this continues to become more and more complicated. More and more complicated. But on the other hand, we have this composition now over a wide range of carbon numbers. And so from this we might learn how an individual reaction at one carbon number will be different at a larger carbon number. How this develops with the size of the what is on the surface then, the species. And this is simplified now then for us. If we hydrogenate the product in the pre-column, gas chromatographic pre-column, then we have only paraffins. And this now is very nice, the simplification. Now we can here easily then calculate with a simple polymerization model the degree of branching which we obtain during the growth of the chain on the surface. And we see as well, the mixture is now becoming more and more complicated. Now we have also the branched olefins here, And the double bond here at C6 is maybe in position 3 also, and the monomethyl ones are as well now more isomers possible. So we now look at the talks on core 1. And then okay, fine. So this now, this is a nice diagram. Yeah? This is a normal cobalt catalyst, a little platinum added for reduction of the cobalt, some this aerosol to have a nicely spaced void, avoid the system for easy diffusion. Here it is zirconia for stabilizing the dispersion, but anyway, it's a common cobalt catalyst, precipitated, working 190 degrees at 5 bar with the normal synthesis gas composition. So what I've plotted here in terms of percent, and seeing here first the activity as a function of time on a logarithmic scale. We see here in the beginning after 1 hour or so, this is the activity, it's the yield here, the yield of hydrocarbons, Fischer-Tropsch yield. It increases by a factor of 3, and this during days, near 1 day, and after about 4 days only, we are at steady state. It's a rather slow process of reorganization of the system. Then on the other hand, we see the chain growth probability. Chain growth probability hitting at C3, C7, the chain growth probability initially is some 60%, but then it increases to 80%. The sites, the Fischer-Tropsch sites, they are developing. They are becoming the Fischer-Tropsch character only after some time here in the cobalt catalyst. And then we see the further selectivity in terms of branching. The branching probability here increases. Initially, there's more space on the sides, but then after some time, there's less space available, and the branching probability decreases with time up to the steady state. And this also, we have a strong effect on the olefins. Initially, there we have less olefins, and the olefin increases. So the secondary, it means finally the secondary hydrogenation of the olefins is slowed down then. And as this proceeds, then among those olefins, the olefins 1s become more and more the major compounds. So this is happening with the cobalt catalyst during, let me say, self-organization in initial stages. So for that, what might happen, there's this excellent, wonderful picture, this wonderful image in the literature from the Shell laboratories, already a few years old, and I wonder why we have not more of these in literature until now. It's a great thing, and I believe in it. I believe in it, showing that the surface under Fischer-Tropsch conditions is roughened. It's changed completely. It's roughened to much a high degree in a regular way, the surface. And this means the surface now is segregated. The sides on the surface are changed, yeah, as in comparison to the original planes. So here I come back to an old view, to the view by Professor Pichler. And this is reproduced from 1952. Then Helmut Pichler belonged to the Hydrocarbon Research Corporation. He went there, he had been together at the Bureau of Mines together with Storch and R.V. Anderson, Irving Wender. They worked together after the war for some 5 years over the war, and they worked on Fischer-Tropsch chemistry to understand this. And Pichler, he himself, he came from Germany. He was a co-worker with Franz Fischer, the main one over many years from 1930 so up to the end of the First War. And so this is then his mechanism. It's something about the mechanism. This was the main issue of his report here in this diagram. In this diagram now showing here the operating ranges for nickel, cobalt, and ruthenium as catalyst, iron as catalyst. And then his main point then has been, here with the nickel, of course, if we raise the temperature, we get particular methane. But if we raise the pressure at 190 degrees, the nickel is converted into nickel carbonyls. It reacts with the CO to build nickel carbonyls. And so with the cobalt, it's more or less the same principle. If we increase the pressure at the lower temperature, the thermodynamics are that we convert the cobalt metal to the cobalt carbonyl. And the same is correct finally with the ruthenium. And from this he had the idea, or what the common sense at the Institute then, that we are close, with the vegetable chemistry, we are close to the reaction conditions thermodynamically, where these metals will react with the CO to build the carbonyls. And so far the idea was that there might be on the surface complexes, active complexes for Fischer-Tropsch chemistry to build the chain, but they will no further specify. But I still have these things in mind. And it's nice together with a nice image from the Shell laboratory that the surface is roughened, the surface is reconstructed, and this is on the way with the CO to react to have more and more sites there and of different kind. So then this is here my view that in this relation that here we have the restructuring of the surface, the segregation of the surface, we have more exposed surface, C atoms, more CO molecules absorbed, CO on plane sides is proportionate. They are then of different nature, that is proportionate for lower and higher coordination, and maybe those of low coordination are mainly active for chain growth. We now go into the details. We see here this is the growth probability of chain propagation carbon number wise. So the methane is very low. Methane is an extra reaction. It's not typical Fischer-Tropsch to most of the methane being formed. But this is the steady state, and there's some 80% growth probability in this range of carbon number. But with increasing time, initially this is the lower growth probability. It shows again the growth probability increases with time, and the sites of growth are being formed to be actual Fischer-Tropsch sites with time in the initial time of the experiment. The same here in more detail. This is typical for the branching. The typical branching probability is like this. The first very low value, but the principal thing is that branching probability declines with the size of the growing chain. This decline, almost exponential climb, this is typical. And the first one is an exception because there's another argument that desorption after branching is inhibiting. It's an idea already by Bodan Pachichovsky some time ago. And so this is the reason for the first value to be low. But initially, we have much more branching on the sides. Initially, we have much more branching on the growth sides, and even the mechanism is changing here. Here we have obviously another mechanism working here. Here the branching probability increases initially with the length of the chain. And it might be probably that then reabsorption on the sides now increases of the olefins, it is possible, increases with carbon number with chain length, and therefore we have a positive effect on that as long as there are not so much constraints on the sides, that reabsorption on the growth sides of the olefins is possible, not only with the terminal C atom, but with the second C atom. So this is nice also, again, I think the branching probability, the function of time and the function of carbon now, and we can try now to make figures out of that branching probability. The first very low value, which is not that much lower, and then the other one, when then this exponential decline for that effect of chain size. And then the olefins, this is the olefin distribution over carbon number. And the olefin content in carbon numbers, and as it develops with time. This is very typical for all the Fischer-Tropsch products, because it reflects the reabsorption on non-Fischer-Tropsch sites for hydrogenation of the olefins. As you will see, the initial Fischer-Tropsch selectivity is something like 75% of olefins and some 30% or so as paraffins. When this affects secondary hydrogenation, the ethylene is easily hydrogenated, and then the increases carbon number, and however, with increasing time, the hydrogenation probability decreases, the shape changes, maybe explained, and it decreases with time because these curves are characterized secondary olefin hydrogenation, degrading to self-organization. And then the olefin 1 and the olefin fractions, they are very poor, they are very few there, there's much olefin double bond shift there, and we have less. We have more olefin 1 at a steady state in the composition. This is a complicated picture, but there's a lot of information. It's a very old one, pretty old one meanwhile, but it's pretty nice what we can draw from it. So if we add the labeled compound, the C16, here there's C14 label, and we add this to the synthesis gas and then analyze the product for radioactivity, the carbon number wise, and see then the molar radioactivity, the gas chromaticon, and the molar radioactivity. The molar radioactivity is a function of carbon number. And what is very known since long, that we have a reabsorption of the olefin on the growth side, for further growth side. And this then yields constant molar radioactivity of the larger molecules, the bigger molecules. But now there's something surprising. There is also radioactivity in the small molecules. And this increases with carbon number. It looks like that if the C1 is split here from the chain, there is a reversibility of the CH2 to be added. Reversibility. And this can be used for further chain growth then at monomer. And this then leads to an increase in radioactivity with carbon number. This is nice. And this then, so we see the main reactions are hydrogenation for the compound to products larger than sigma 6.3, but the products here to a smaller amount is 10% here and then, and also to methane. Now this C1 is split from the chain, travels around, may be used as a monomer, and quite a lot of it is being hydrogenated to methane. And so this is now a nice kinetic scheme for all these reactions. The surface species, yeah. We have this little, here is growth, but there's little reversibility. So we have the desorption of the olefin or the paraffin, it may be branched. But the olefin, there's a reabsorption, this reversibility, but there's a reabsorption on different sites, on those sites which are not growth sites, but only for hydrogenation. And there we have the formation of the paraffin, but as well in the isomerization of the olefin in the reverse reaction. So the conclusions here are with cobalt activity increases, growth probability increases, olefin 1, selectivity increases, branching declines, and referring to catalyst restructuring for sites disproportionation. Increasing spatial constraints on growth sites, less olefin secondary reactions on fewer hydrogenation sites, dynamic structure of growth sites. So to continue with the iron, much is different. If we here have the picture now, the diagram now, or the logarithmic time scale, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week. And then we see what's happening. We have something, somehow we have the same. We have the increase of activity with time, beginning only after some 2 hours, and then being at steady state again after a few days or so. This is the activity, the yield of hydrocarbons, hydrocarbons. Then what's happening with the catalyst itself? So we have XRDs values of the catalyst, and this for the alpha iron. The metallic alpha iron, this now here decreases, is converted to the iron carbide, and when we are at steady state with the iron catalyst, there's no alpha iron, no metallic iron any longer there. Yeah? And this is, you see the same with the Mills-Bohr spectroscopy here. There's no longer any iron phase there, where the iron carbide is being formed. So obviously at steady state, there's no longer any metallic iron there. There's only now the no metallic iron phase there. And what is active for Fischer-Tropsch synthesis, then obviously in the iron carbide. There's no doubt about this. But the iron with the iron carbide, everything depends on the promotion, alkali promotion. Everything depends. So here we have the same catalyst, but there's different amounts of potassium added. 0 potassium, 5 potassium, 25 potassium added. And this is the Fischer-Tropsch activity, the yield as a function of time. And so we see here with the five parts of potassium, this is nice. Yeah, we have an increase with time, and then we are at steady state for Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. But if we have too much of the potassium, then we come up to the same nice conversion, but soon we have a deactivation of the catalyst. And on the other hand, if without potassium, we have only poor performance of the catalyst at all. So, what could be the reason? It looks like, and it is the following. The CO decomposes to be then carbon on site, just carbon on site. And so what's happening with this? The carbon, we take up hydrogen, and we come up to the CH1, CH2, CH3, what it is, to react with the hydrogen, or the carbon will react with the iron to give the iron carbide, or if we have too fast carbon formation, then we will get the carbon phase which deactivates the catalyst. And this obviously is controlled by the potassium, by, no, not yet. It's controlled by the potassium promotion. Yeah? And so this is obviously this is very important. Yeah? And if the promotion is too much, then we get the carbon phase. If we have not enough, and if we are ready with the carbide formation, here, only then begins the hydrocarbon formation. But it must not be too highly promoted. So I feel this is the right understanding now of the potassium with alkali for the iron catalyst, which is completely necessary. So in the function of time, this is Fischer-Tropsch activity. The water gets activity increasing. There is a carbon formation. There is the carbon formation here. Here more or less over. So it is nice how this develops in different episodes as a function of time. The catalyst formation in the direction to the steady state. I don't know, it's nice. When we have no metallic phase in it there, then we have no extra methane formation. Then the methane remains low. When we are with iron carbide, when there no iron metal is there, then the growth probability as a function of carbon number might be something like this. The branching probability is more or less the same at the steady state as the cobalt catalyst. There's not much depends on the catalyst. It depends obviously on the size of the molecules on the side. But then what could be the reaction here? What might be the reaction of branching in reality on the surface? If normal growth we think to be the reaction of a CH2 together with an alkyne to have one CH2 longer chain. And if on the other hand, we have here this reversibility of hydrogen between CH2 and CH3. If we think the same is correct here, for, for the larger, so for the alkyl and alkylate, this reversibility might be here as well. Then we might assume here this reaction of the methyl with the alkylate to give here the connection to the surface at the second C atom, for instance, at the chain will grow here. So this would be then the origin of the growth reaction in such a way. And this now would depend strongly on the site of the alkylate. But in that case, where we have no influence of carbon number, there's just adding the small species to the long chain. There's no influence here of carbon number where on branching because of that. This might be a reason that we have a strong effect on the carbon number dependent of branch probability. So with the, and then with the olefins, this fits nicely in the picture as a function of time, dependence of potassium promotion. We see here, we come to the steady state of some 70–80% olefin with sufficient alkali promotion. If we don't have, if we have little or no promotion with alkali, then we have not a steady state and we have a poor catalyst and we don't end up at the primary olefin formation. And if you look then at what the composition of the olefins is, we see the olefins 1 is the olefin fractions, carbon number fraction. The olefins 1, they end up being only almost 100% here after a steady state, 95% of what they are, but this is not correct with the zero catalyst where we have much isomerization of the olefins. So obviously this is a metal phase, the iron metal phase reaction here, and with the carbide, with the iron carbide here, we are at the primary product, the olefins, the alpha olefins. Yeah. And so then the mechanism would be on the Fischer-Tropsch, species to dissolve as the alpha olefins as a primary reaction with some reversibility. And on the other hand, the reversibility desorption as a paraffin. But with the secondary reaction on the metallic side of the iron, and in similar way with the cobalt catalyst, would be the alpha olefin to add an hydrogen very reversibly, to add it in this position or add it in that position, and the second will be slow and irreversible to come to the paraffin, but we have the fast reversibility here. So if we add the hydrogen there, and the species here, they dissolve now here as a beta olefin. So this is a fast reversibility to explain the double bond shift of the alpha olefins in connection with the hydrogen as secondary reactions. So then conclusions. So complex polar composition time provides insight to Fischer-Tropsch chemistry. When iron catalyst Fischer-Tropsch performs on static growth sites of iron chloride with no secondary olefin reactions, as no metallic iron is present. With cobalt, changes in conditions cause changes of reaction mechanism, and catalytic sites are of dynamic nature. And so special constraints on Fischer-Tropsch sites are important in ruling Fischer-Tropsch selectivity. And the other belief, complex polar composition in catalytic chemistry is a rich source of information about events on the surface, elemental reactions, kind of sites, species on sites, also providing the basis for advanced molecular modeling to enjoy other people. Excuse me. And then your acknowledgements, of course, it has been work over a long time, yeah? And it needs a long time to think what is it and what is that, which are the real parameters and so. And so these are people involved in the development of the methods and the Fischer-Tropsch research. And particularly my thanks go also to Professor Fischler I've been a student of him and I've learned much of him. So I want particularly to mention this. So I think now I'm through with it. Thank you for your kind attendance.
Very nice lecture. Do we have time for maybe one question? Any questions? Professor Schulz? Very clear presentation. Okay, no questions. Okay, well, we'll move on to the next speaker. Thank you.